Likkutei Torah, Grushim for Yom Kippur, page Samaches, second column, Eis Beis. Okay, now the Rebbe is asking a question. One place it says Shabbos ulochem, masculine. Another pasuk says Shabbos ilochem, which is feminine. Then the Rebbe mentioned that you have a positive mitzvah, you do Teshuvah, you're forgiven right away. Negative mitzvah, you need Yom Kippur. So the question is, positive mitzvah pushes away negative mitzvah. Okay, so the Rebbe started explaining the union of Shabbos. He said the Shom Ne'esos Shabbos. So he says, what is Shabbos? Shabbos is the word of Toshev. What does it mean? The whole week Hashem put himself into the world to create. Shabbos, Hashem is returning to a higher level than it was before, to the level that the highest level and the lowest level are both the same. Okay, so he says, what does he mean? They didn't have to watch the Shabbos? Oh, that's what he's explaining now. Okay, let's start Eis Beis. Shabbos. We just started this line. The Gemara says a person makes works out of Shabbos will have what to eat Shabbos. So what does that mean? Obviously, it doesn't mean simple. Therefore, the pasuk says the Jews have to guard the Shabbos to do. What does it mean to do? They have to watch from the weekday to Shabbos, meaning that to fix with themselves. For last is benafshin, to make the soul as a Shabbos shia be'emes kach. Okay, that Shabbos should really be the kedusha of Shabbos. The kedusha of Shabbos is dependent on what we behave during the week. So therefore he's saying like this. In order to make Shabbos properly, you have to make Shabbos during the week. When you make Shabbos during the week, then Shabbos will be good. What does that mean? What's the Shabbos of the week? That's the level of tefillah. Davening, we learned this in different places. Davening is the level of Shabbos of each weekday. Now, each weekday has a level of Shabbos in it. What is the Shabbos each day? Davening. Tikkun is there, it says, Tefillah, sulamot savarta, v'reishim agia shamayim. What is tefillah? The ladder that stands on the ground that goes all the way up to the heaven. What it is, v'nei malach elokim olim v'yordem bay. The angels of Hashem go up and down. So what does it mean, the messengers of Hashem? There are no physical beings called angels. It means malach elokim imam mitzvahs. Shem malachim shlucha de malka. They are the messengers of Hashem to connect the Jew with Hashem. Like it says in Tanchum and Medrash and Yom mitzvahs. The Medrash says, Hashem says to the Jews, honor the mitzvahs, which are my messengers, and shlucha shaladim kameisi. Okay, keep 5 lines in the brackets. But the Rebbe says like this: you have to make Shabbos during the week. How do you make Shabbos during the week? That's the level of tefillah, which is the ladder going up and down, the malachim going up and down. Malachim going up and down, and our Aveda is doing mitzvahs. The Vayir Inyan Zet to explain what this means. In a Chazal, Tiknu Loi Mekedem Kol Mitzvah. Chazal, Anshe Knesset Sagdele, instant, before you do a mitzvah, you make a bracha. What is the bracha? Shekidshon or b'mitzvah? That Hashem sanctified us, meaning Shaydei HaMitzvahs through mitzvahs, Misalim Mekedesh Elyon. You go up to the higher levels of Kedusha, the Kedusha of Hashem. Well, it says in the pasuk, Ani kevrei shirana, I am like a slingshot. By the way, I don't think we learned this Maamar, but then we learned this concept in another Maamar. What is Bereish? Hashem says, me, mitzvahs are like a slingshot. What's a slingshot? Bereishu min eres. It's a piece of eres, to cedar tree, whatever. Shadayin lo hiskin, that didn't get old yet, so it's still bendable. Once, old people also, old bones, you can't bend. Yeah, but it's still flexible, it's still bendable. Borach v'nanan is soft. Shul beluchus eishaz yichelim l'keifa v'mat. Then you're able to bend it downward. O b'shvil shul gerva shebe'ilonis. Because Eretz is the highest of the trees. O k'shmanich I love eiza dover. When you put on the slingshot something that you bend it down and you put something on it, it will let go of it. It elevates that thing to a very lofty place. Okay? So Hashem says, I am like a slingshot. You bend it down, you make it fly to a very high place. The lower you bend it backwards, the higher the thing is going to go. Hashem says, Ani, right? I, what's the level of Ani? Because sometimes we find it says Anechi Hashem Elokecha, sometimes it says Ani Hashem Elokecha. What's the difference between Anechi, and that both means I, but what's the difference in Lashon Kodesh between Anechi and Ani? He says Anechi means Misha Anechi, I know Bechinas Alma Diskaski. Anechi means I am, or they say in certain languages, I is who I is. I am who I am, meaning the essence of Hashem, the way Hashem is infinitely greater than any world whatsoever. U'bechinas Ani. What is the level of Ani? U'bechinas Torah mitzvahs. Bechinas lamata, the way Torah mit Elokus comes down here. Chamislabish binyonim gashmi. That it comes into physical things. U'magbilim o'inyonim. And it limits. Torah mitzvahs have to be limited, right? Tefillin have to be a certain shape, size, form, only during a certain time. Sukkah, lula, everything is limited. Every mitzvah has its shiur, every limitation. Not the shiur kids, linyani mitzvahs, gashmi, k'mei, revias, neitlin, yadayim. Like to wash in the tilt yadayim, you need a revias. So this, you need this. That level of ani is similar to the slingshot, by bending it down. So he says like this: Anechi is a level of Elokus which is higher than the world, even higher than Avaya, even higher than Alekecha, and all that.
It doesn't come to the world.
No, Ani by Matan Torah did come to the world. By the way, that was unique about Matan Torah. Ani means. Ani Hashem Asher Tzesi Haschemet, the level of Elokus that comes into Mitzrayim. Ani the Sharnechi, Ani means the way Elokus comes into the world. But it comes into the world. Why? Because only by bending down, this level of Elokus that bends down to come back into the world, that's the only way. Through Gashmis can you fly higher than you were before.
When you wake up in the morning, why don't you say Modeh and Modeh?
No, because Ani is what's giving back the neshama into our body.
So it's giving it back neshama.
Neshama is giving back. That's where he says thank you.
Gratefulness.
And then you have the same thing in evil. You have a slingshot of evil. When you do bad, then he says, meaning, just like mitzvahs elevate. Just like mitzvahs elevate the Jews that come from Pnimis HaMachshava all the way up to a very lofty place. Therefore we say Elokeinu. It's our chayes, it's one with us. And that level, Talukus, we bow. Okay? So he says, but so he's not done yet. But you have the same thing in Klippa. When a person does evil, because we're so connected to Talukus, so either we can go very high or very low. Even forgetting Yidden for a second. Humans are the only creatures that can be super high or super low. Even on the Goyish level, they can either be, intelligent, bad, or do good or do bad. Animals can never do good or bad. They are what they are. The instinct that they're created with, that's what they are. They can never change. Only a human being can become better or worse. A Yid definitely, you can either become the loftiest levels of Kedusha through mitzvahs, or you can reach the ultimate pits and low levels through Avedas.
Remember the Nobia, like an apple, if a Jew touches it, say bracha, he elevates it.
That's if you make a bracha and eat it for the right purpose. If not, lower it. But here you're not talking about klipas nega. You saw when you do an aveda, then it's even lower. But because the Jewish neshama is so great, so when it goes down, it goes really down. Like a fast horse, when it goes off the track, it goes way off. So you can go either way. V'nei Amar Azal Perek Lifnei Edyen in Aveda Zarah, the Gemara says, Yisrael shebechutz la'aretz eitik chavim b'tareim. The Gemara says that Jews are idol worshippers, Jews in chutz la'aretz are idol worshipping in purity. What does that mean? Ki yishtachavo la'avedes kochavim. What does bowing to an idol mean? It means shemishtachavo keifiv reishel kechavim azolos. Right? You bow your head to idols. When a Jew does an Aveda, so what are they actually doing? They're bowing to the thing they're sinning with. They're idolizing that thing that does, whether it's food, clothing, shelter, whatever it may be. They're idolizing that object. They're worshiping idols. What?
They submit to it.
Yes. Well, any Aveda, we learned this many times, any Aveda, you basically is Aveda Zorah. Because any Aveda, if Hashem's standing right over you, and he says, don't do it, and you do it, so you're bowing to the idol instead of to Hashem. Let's say a person wants to eat something not kosher, yeah? So Hashem's standing right in front of you and says, don't eat it, and you eat it. Or we eat it, I eat it, whatever. So what happens? Instead of bowing to Hashem, you're bowing to the food. That's an idol. Every sin is really Aveda Zorah. The Ruach Shtus comes along and says, no, it's not idols. But in reality, it's denying the existence of Hashem.
You succumb to your, it's not that you are disrespectful, sometimes you just succumb to your desire.
That is
Like
called, in English, that's called succumb, yeah. That's what it's called in English. Bowing to your idols.
In our generation, the Tava is the money.
No, they're all kinds of Come to me, I'll tell you.
The type of money, it says, Rabbi mentioned this many times, even tzaddikim gemurim, it says, in nichshel, in the type of money. But what they want the money for is for tzedakah, not for... There are certain great fruits that come from the sun. The grain comes from the sun. There's no blade of grass down here. Doesn't have a kechav or a mazel. Therefore, all the matter the machshavtei. Okay, so it says like this. All Gashmistic things have a mazel that controls it, right? Even the blade of grass. So when a person gives in to Gashmias, he's basically bowing Avedas Kechavim Umazalas. Going down. Kol Hayam made it Sichle Shebereisha. He's bending his seichel in his head, the David and Nishba Mikochavim Mazalas, that they also become Elokeinu L'maisi Yodenu, that becomes their new God. Kimaisi Yodenu Eisek HaParnasa. So Na'asem Izah B'chinas Elokim Achedim. So what's out there Rebbe saying? Just like in Kedusha, when you do a mitzvah, it's Gashmiistic limitations, bending but all the way down in Gashmias, but then it shoots very lofty, high up in Kedusha. The same thing is in Klippa, but instead of going up, the slingshot's going down. And therefore the person could lower himself into the depth of evil.
But sometimes that's exactly what it takes, to go down
That's after the fact, not before the fact.
I see. The intention.
If the person already sinned, yes, and fell very low, obviously Hashem made that happen. If Hashem didn't want it to happen, it wouldn't have happened. Hashem gives us the free choice. But if I'm about to eat something, God forbid, not kosher, and Hashem really wouldn't want me to eat it, He would close my mouth.
Can someone blame
So Hashem, you could blame God for everything, couldn't care less, consented that it should be done. Now, why in the world would Hashem allow me to do something He hates? So the answer is because that's the only way I can reach a higher level through Teshuvah. So after the fact, not before the fact, before the fact Hashem says you're not allowed to do the Aveda. After Vashav, you say I'll sin and do Teshuvah, you don't get the opportunity to do Teshuvah. But if you did it already, after the fact, I'm low, why did Hashem make me so low? Because then I can become super high. What?
There is hope.
There's always hope. That the nefesh of Yanimi, you'll shoot in the kafakela. Things that they're in gashmis. It's like avedas that people just step on, meaning they're used to sinning like that. It's like a stone, like you shoot it through the slingshot. It's like you're worshiping idols. This is the negativity of it. When you do an avera, then you're actually shooting elukus super low. Now, we are going with elukus to a very low level. They're going to get the Teshuvah. Yaakov's the rope. You go down, everything on top goes down. Everything on top goes down.
Give a synopsis. I'm not understanding this concept of slingshot over here. What is considered going down and what?
When you do a mitzvah, you're slingshotting high. Why? Because why are you bending back? Because that's the mitzvah in Gashmias.
Where is the bending back when you're doing the mitzvah? I know you go.
I'm saying because the mitzvah came into Gashmias.
Oh, it was already on the level.
That's the mitzvahs in Gashmias with limitations. So when you do a mitzvah, meaning you're bending down into Gashmias, limited Gashmias, only through that can you fly very high. And the same thing is in evil. When a person does evil, okay, so they're doing evil, so then the slingshot is going reverse, all the way down.
And why is it changing the concept lashon of slingshot? Before you said
It's all slingshots.
same thing.
You never changed it. You never change it. There's a slingshot of good, and there's kafakel, slingshot of bad. Yeah.
Rabbi, when the Jew bring the rope down, the rope will never get disconnected, does it?
The essence of the rope is never disconnected. But the connection a Jew cuts off is, you do an avera, chas v'shom, it cuts the connection between us and Hashem.
So what was that reason that the Jews could not stay even 1 second more in Egypt? They had to get out. Was it because it was about to get disconnected?
But that was before Matan Torah. Before Matan Torah, if they fell down into the 50th level of Tumah, they wouldn't have gotten out. But after Matan Torah, everything changed.
Is it possible to fall to that level now?
Not nowadays. Not the Yechidei Shebenefesh is not shaykh.
The rope's still there, it's just the strands are weakened or maybe...
Very, very weak.
A Jew that says he's not Jewish, a Jew that does other things that is totally, are we allowed to put the film on that Jew?
Yeah.
Not only are you allowed to, it's a bigger mitzvah to do that. When the Rebbe came out with the tefillin campaign, the Rebbe quoted the smag that says that Hashem has more pleasure when the Rosh Gomer puts on tefillin than when the tzaddik puts on tefillin.
Yeah, but he keeps on saying, I don't want to, it means nothing to me, I don't want to.
A guy says he's not Jewish when he is, There's not a nose. I mean, no. Today you can't say if a guy says he's a girl when he's a boy. Today you can't say that stuff. But bottom line is, you can't say what you're not. When somebody came, I told you that if somebody came to the Rebbe and said, Rabbi, I don't believe in God. The Rebbe said, the fact that you say you don't believe doesn't mean you don't believe, because in essence, every Jew believes. Every Jew believes in Hashem. Are you saying you don't? So you're lying. It's not MS.
Even a sworn convert, somebody who was Jewish and he's practicing another religion, he's a Jew. He's buried in
a Jew is a Jew.
Yeah.
Whether now the question is, he could be the prince in a Beis Hashivya. It could be a prince in the house of captivity.
In 1 second, he can do Teshuvah.
In 1 second, he can get out of it. That's the uniqueness of
Even
it.
if he doesn't do Teshuvah, he be buried in the Beit Torah, even if he converted.
The point is, the Jew's essence is always, in 1 second you could do Teshuvah, because that level of the neshama that Teshuvah touches, never fell down into evil.
It's like somebody that tells his mother that gave him birth, you're not my mom.
Correct.
Doesn't matter what.
Today they could do it. I mean, they do everything.
Logically, he came from her.
I understand, but people still say that you're not my mother.
They say it, but it doesn't make any.
Correct. So, because the Pintaliyid is always there. That happened by Matan Torah, by the way.
But his Teshuvah is accepted easier.
Teshuvah?
The person who doesn't, he says, I'm not Jewish, but he is, and then he does Teshuvah, everything that he's done not knowing. I'm doing everything wrong, I know I'm doing wrong.
In other words, I told the Rabbi Masmid, the famous Chassid Rabbi Masmid, once told the Rabbi Rashab, but he stopped him mid-sentence because he knew what he was saying. The Rabbi Rashab stopped him mid-sentence. Amalek, the clip of Amalek is Yudeas Ribainai Umachavan Limbay. The 7 nations are the midas of Klippa. Reish is Goyim Amalek, Reish is Chochmah. The Klippa of Amalek was Seichel of Klippa. Yedeas Ribainai, he understood the greatness of God and rebelled against him. Right? That's much worse. That's the worst Klippa when you understand the great and you still rebel against it. So the Rabbi Shemas was telling the Rabbi Rashab, who is Yedeas Ribainai if not a Chabadnik who learns Chassidus? So he was telling the Rabbi Rashab that basically he wanted to tell him that a Chabadnik is Yedeas Ribainu Mechavan Limmer, so he's even worse than all the other Klippas in that respect. But the Rebbe Rashab stopped him mid-sentence, he didn't let him finish it.
Why do you want to qualify Chabadnikim as the worst?
Because it's Yedeas Ribainu. If you don't know Chassidus, you don't know God. I mean, not that we do know God, at least we know that we don't know Him. He's not some ferocious buffalo or whatever. The more you understand Hashem, the more you realize you don't understand it. So when you learn Chassidus, the more you learn Chassidus, the more you realize you don't begin to understand anything. But that's also a form of knowledge. What's called Yediyas HaShlila. We know what it's not. But there's some, without learning Chassidus, you think, okay, what's God is this and that, done that. In the long letter that the Friedger wrote to the Rabbi Tzachai Mushka, which was stolen and printed, not all of it, whatever. Over there, the guy is reminiscing the days before he started learning Chassidus. He was saying that the fear of Hashem, how did he picture the fear? He said it's like being attacked by a ferocious buffalo. That was his level of fear of Hashem. You learn Chassidus, you see that's idiotic. He was reminiscing his old days and now how he understands things, or he realizes he doesn't understand things better, but at least he knows what it's not.
But Rabbi, that was my understanding of God when I believed in God when I was a kid. And it's gone and nothing compares to it.
That's
It's
fine.
a big loss. That's a difference.
What, that he's not a ferocious buffalo?
That is not something omnipotent, omnipresent.
Okay, work on it.
But he says his time is lost. He doesn't mention other thing he has done.
No, there's something potent about it. There's something
Potent about what?
about believing in something.
The lightning is going to come down from heaven and strike you.
Supreme being that is very physical and
Because our limit brainlessness can't picture anything not physical.
yes.
We didn't have buffaloes in Persia.
And a two-legged buffalo is worse.
It's when I became secular and it never came back. I mean, that was
Okay, let's just finish this up. In Idayim Elamash clear 7. It's like again slingshot. It's like it's like you're worshiping others. You're denying the entire existence of Hashem.
Wow.
I mean, the slingshot is like not to the shoot, it's like a